Hey everyone, it's Lillian, the Postmodern Mom. Today I'm going to chat with you about the week. This is the beginning of half term, and if you are American, half term is basically a week off of school. It happens every 6 weeks, except when it's Christmas and Easter, where I think they have 2 weeks off. If you want to find out more about these Americans living in the UK, living a traditional family life, we encourage you to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, our website, patreon.com/apostmodernfamily, which is our patron page where you can support us and you'll get a handwritten note from us for being a monthly supporter. And also, we just recently launched our t-shirt store on teespring.com/stores/thepostmodernfamily with hyphens in between the postmodern and family. You can click on those links down in the description below. We are very excited about finding ways to support our interns and what they do for us. So our Teespring store will be helping raise money. We realize what it's like when you were an unpaid intern. We really appreciate them for their hard work. I think there's such a joy in keeping a good home, in watching your children grow up, in cooking and cleaning and supporting your husband. What have you been doing?
Coloring.
This week is half term, which means that we are not driving over to our learning community. Most things are off, so her ballet classes are not running and her French class isn't running. Most extracurricular stuff pauses during half term, which I find so annoying. Not because it's like crowded necessarily and there's children running about, but I remember when before she was school age that all of these play groups would also stop running, and then you would have a full week of like not having any social interactions with people on your regular social interactions, like the play groups that you take them, their classes, their extracurriculars, etc. But I'm actually very grateful for a little bit of a break this week because taking that drive to Surrey for our learning community is quite taxing, and each time I feel like it's more difficult to stay awake, and I have to make sure I have enough caffeine and I'm taking enough stops and breaks just for that 2-hour drive. The difficulty with going away all day on our weekly learning community day is that it interrupts our regular schedule. So we are not taking a break from home education. We are continuing on doing our reading, phonics, our maths, learning Chinese, learning violin, learning your history and your science. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of a more relaxed but a regulated week.
After my violin, I get ice cream.
Yes. So because I teach violin, I think I had a big difficulty figuring out how I was going to teach my daughter, because when you teach violin, you only see your students once a week. Now, clearly I see her 24/7, and it was very difficult for me because every time she would take out her violin, I would go into teacher mode and be like, this is wrong, that is wrong, fix this, fix that. And then I realized she's really not enjoying learning. We had to find a way to motivate her to practice and to keep learning. And I also had to find a way for myself to not go into teacher mode, and instead I should just go into parent mode. So what I've worked out, which has been working out really well for the last 3 weeks, is one day a week is our violin lesson where I am the teacher, and I tell her what she's doing wrong and what she needs to correct and what she's doing well, and I assign her homework. Now the rest of the time she has to practice what I wrote down. So every day she does all of those things, and whether she does it rightly or wrongly, as the parent, I'm just trying to, when I help her practice, I'm just trying to get her to do the specific things that I wrote down as the teacher. And if she does them, and she doesn't necessarily have to do it perfectly every time, and that's where I really need to switch my brain off. The purpose of practice is to at least just keep doing it, and if she keeps on doing it, then she'll just get better and better by practicing. So after a week of practice, she earns an ice cream if she does all of her practicing for that week. So that's what we've been working on, and she's been doing much, much better. Her violin is sounding pretty good. Not too bad. She's only 4.5, and I don't have huge aspirations for her to be a virtuoso violinist. But I think that it is really essential to teach children diligence and to teach them to continue doing things even if they don't like it, even if they don't like the sound that they're making, because the persistence that you're teaching them, even if they're uncomfortable and they feel like this is not something they want to pursue, that's a skill that you need to learn. As an adult, you need to learn how to do things that you don't want to do and that you don't like to do. A lot of people don't like their job, but hey, you have to make some money, right? And so you have to wake up every morning, you have to go and do it. You can never really succeed if you don't learn the skill of doing things that you don't like to do. So this whole mentality of children need to always be doing what they like to do, and if they don't like it, they can just quit. I don't agree with that. Practicing.
And after my Chinese, I get Skittles too.
All right, and then she's been recently learning from this Chinese book. Go get it. I want to show them. So this book was recommended. We brought it over from the States because it's cheaper to buy in the States. This is called 四五快读, which just means 4, 5, quick read. So ages 4 to 5, learning to read quickly. This is the first book of 8, and I got them on eBay, on US eBay for $46, which was amazing. The difficulty with this is that there is no English in here. So if you're trying to teach your child Chinese and you don't speak or read any Chinese, you probably just need to find a Chinese tutor or a Chinese teacher to help you go through this. Or you can learn pinging, which is quite simple for a Chinese, for an English reader to learn how to read pinging. You don't need to know what the instructions are, but what you could do. So this is basically a classical way to learn Chinese. Ignore all these instructions because I can't even read all these instructions. If you want to teach your daughter or son Chinese, I would highly, highly recommend this. Now, a lot of first generation and second generation Chinese parents, whether in America or in the UK, tend to send their child to Chinese classes and Chinese school. That's great and all, but the best way for them to learn is every day at home, drill and drill and drill and drill. Even if you don't speak Chinese, let's say you are a British person and you want to teach your child Chinese because it is so, so useful. I still recommend getting this book. If you type in 4, 5 quick read book set, something like that, it'll show up. The other thing you could do is just use Google Translate and take a picture of this, and Google Translate will translate for you, and then you can put that in. So anyway, what you do is every week we learn a set of words. So the classical method, just to remind you, is to memorize at this age, do a lot of memory work, and just keep memorizing and keep memorizing. So that actually works really, really well with Chinese. So here's our first set. Was this our first set? Yeah. This was our first set of Chinese words to learn. And in the back of the book, it comes with flashcards. And the back of the flashcards tell you how to pronounce it. And what I've done is laminated them into this set here. And then we just drill the weekly ones. And then if she gets really good at them, I take them out as we continue adding new ones in. So this is a really good set of flashcards I've laminated. I love my laminator. 人口大中小哭笑一上下爸妈天太月二. And if you don't know what they mean, I would just use Google Translate, and you can just start to memorize what these words are. So this is person, mouth, big, middle, small, cry, smile or laugh, one, up, down, father, mother, sky, too much. That's too much food, or that's too good. You've done too well.
Too much cameras.
And then this one is moon, and this is number 2. So if you don't know what those characters are, look them up and just memorize them, and you're learning as well. Okay, so then you take that and then it builds onto itself and creates new words and phrases. Let's see if she can read this.
土地
Right.
大象
Shan.
山小山土山
Mm-hmm.
土性
Tu Xing.
土性 wood
Mu.
木星好人
It's following the classical method of memorizing, and Chinese is something that's so easy to memorize as a child, I think. If you're young. If you're little, you can learn to memorize Chinese characters, and then that just builds on top of each other. So it's not too soon to start this when your child can start to recognize images.
I can remember to speak Chinese words now.
That's right. We've developed a game, so if she can get them all right in one go, then she gets some Skittles. I usually change the number of Skittles depending on how many are in the stack. So today, she went through a bigger stack than this. I offered her 6 Skittles if she got them all right, and then every one she gets wrong, she gets subtracted a Skittle. And today, what happened?
I did it!
What did you get? How many Skittles?
6.
Very good. So she got all of them correct, which is amazing. And then the last thing that I really been thinking about a lot is the fact that we use our cell phones and iPads too much. As a society, and especially as parents, when we're in the presence of our children, we're not looking at them as much as back in the day when we didn't have smartphones. And I think it's something that we need to be aware of as parents, that we're not spending too much time looking at devices than looking at our children and interacting with them. So you'll hopefully that you can spend the time this week with your children and you enjoy them. If you are working a lot, unfortunately, you probably can't spend that much time with your children, but know that they're not going to stay this way forever. They grow up so quickly, and don't waste all your dinner time looking at your phone. Don't waste all the meals that you have with your children being distracted by your smartphone devices. So I encourage you to just think about this week and have a great half term, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below on what you're going to do this half term, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Baby said bye-bye too.
Yeah. I think there's such a joy in keeping a good home, in watching your children grow up, in cooking and cleaning and supporting your husband.